do you have any clients? Well, actually, here we go. So this is the 7th and final poll. So nuanced differently than one of the prior questions. And again, this is the CP requirement, so this is your last chance to get in your response. And we're going to close this one down here pretty soon. We had a number of people that were asking for contact information, for PowerPoint slides, copies of the video. I'll address that, or I plan to address it towards the end of the session, but while we're waiting for this poll to close, I'll just mention that contact information was provided in advance of this session. You could find it on our website. Same place you'll find the link to the archive copy of the archive recording, and then the PowerPoints are also available within your account. So thanks for asking for that. And one person had a difficult time with the link that we sent, but you may want to just try a different browser since there haven't been any other reported issues that I'm aware of. We're at 90%. And here we go.
All right. Wow. Okay. So again, a fairly new concept for most of you here on the call. We're pretty much down to the end of the presentation. I will go through a couple questions here, Howard and I will. You have Fletcher. You asked if we've had somebody that had a captive for several years and they had $10 to $15 million of premium built up, would they quit paying premium but continue to operate the captive? You can do that, but you would not be issuing new policies. So, you can't just issue new policies and not pay the premium every year, but you could keep a captive in runoff. Now, bear in mind, captives, again, as I said, are not cheap to operate. We would put a captive into what we call runoff for about $15,000 plus any third-party fees. But when you run the analysis, it may be better to keep the captive going for a few years, pay the administrative fee in runoff, which is, again, runoff means is you don't write new policies. The captive is just there. There's no audit. There's no actuary that can get waivers for that. But you could do it, but you wouldn't do it more than a couple years at the end of the day.
We have, Brian, you and I have one client that's in that position, and what we are suggesting is because the business is being sold, we're just suggesting that they liquidate and take the money out of long-term capital gains and kind of close shop,
Yep. Steve,
we've also, and this question has not been asked, but what do you do if you form a captive and you sell your business? Well, Brian and I have had this happen a couple times. One scenario is if the new buyer says, I'm not interested in the captive, I just want to buy the business. And so in that case, the buyer buys the business, and the former owner of the business simply liquidates the captive and takes everything out of long-term capital gains. We have another situation where a money manager who is managing about $400 million bought a captive to cover some of the regulatory risks and involved in his money management business, and somebody is looking at buying his business. He has asked us to educate and to help the new buyer understand why he formed the captive and the benefit. And I think what's going to happen, the transaction is going to happen next year, is I think the buyer has now become aware of the benefits, and so he's going to buy not only the money management business, he's also going to purchase the captive. And the captive is pretty easy to determine what the price is because almost all the money is in short-term liquidities or liquid. So the evaluation process is going to be fairly easy.